Atomic structure essay question 4. So first up, let's look at it. We have 6 different particles here, and each of them has different number of protons, electrons, and neutrons. So what the question tells us is to use, let's go back down, is to use A to F to answer the following questions. So which of this is a noble gas? In actual fact, you just need to look at the proton number. Why? Because you just need to, with the proton number, you can actually identify which element is from group 0. Okay, so look at it. Particle A, 6 protons, 2, 12, 12, 6, 13. You realize that only element B, or I should say particle B, is a noble gas because it has 2 protons, it coincides helium, and helium is from group 0. So therefore, particle B is a noble gas. Next up, we ask which particle has a nucleon number of 14. First up, you remember, nucleon number means that we need to sum up the proton number and the neutron number. So finding out the nucleon number of 14, we just need to sum up the last 2 columns over here. This column and this column. You realize 12, 4, 24, 24, 14, and 27. So therefore, particle E must be the one that has a nucleon number of 14. Next up, part C, which 2 particles are isotopes? So what are isotopes? Remember, same number of protons, different number of neutrons. So which particles are actually the same element? We know that A and E are one set, C and D are another set, because A and E have the same number of protons. Okay, C and D has the same number of protons. But in this case here, we want to look at which are isotopes. In this case, we are looking at atoms, okay? Atoms with the same number of protons and different number of neutrons. So which of these are atoms? In order to find out which of them are atoms, you need to know which of them has the same number of protons and electrons. And you realize A and E, they have same number of protons and electrons. But they have different number of neutrons. So therefore, A and E, definitely they are isotopes. So for C, the answer is A and E. Now last one, we need to look at which 2 particles are an atom and an ion of the same element. We know that A and E, they are atoms and not ions. So therefore, we can actually strike out the possibility of A and E. However, as you can see here, what I'm doing is to explain it fully. So same element equals same number of protons. We know that there are 1 set, 2 sets of isotopes, possibly isotopes. They are same elements. Next up, we know that atoms are electrically neutral. P is equals to E. So we know that A, C, E are atoms. If we know A and E are one set and we are looking out for an atom and an ion, therefore A and E cannot be the answer because both of them are atoms. Both are atoms. So now it's just to confirm the last answer. Ions are electrically not neutral. That means protons are not equals to electrons. So if you look at particle D here, I have 10 electrons but 12 protons. There's more proton than electrons. So therefore D is an ion. Therefore C and D are atoms and ions of the same element. C being the atom, D being the ion of the same element. And lastly, let's look at 4E. They tell us to draw the electronic structure of an atom and ion as given by the answer in part D. So what we need to draw is C, atom, and D, ion. So for the atom here, generally quite simple. We know that it has 12 electrons. C has 12 electrons. So the electronic configuration will be 2, 8, 2, and that's what I've drawn here. However, for D, it is actually an ion. So what we are trying to find here is that we know that D has 10 electrons, electronic configuration 2, 8. But this will be a D2 plus ion. Therefore, what you can see here, I've drawn 2 and with a square bracket 2 plus because your ions will have the square bracket with the charge at the top right hand corner. So that's your answer for 2E. Sorry, I mean 4E.